But the lawyers, whoever the law firm is that represents the group, you'll tell them we want the laundry list of shite. Should we be an LLC? Should we be a C corp? Should we be an S corp? And they're going to say, well, what's your intention? Do you want to go public? Do you want to do this? Is there any chance you want to be a REIT, a real estate investment trust? And they'll set all that shit up, and so there'll be dozens of documents to sign at that first board meeting. There'll be literally dozens of documents that you'll sign, and that's why you want a big law firm, because one of the reasons you want a big law firm is because they have deep pockets. So if they give you bad advice and you sue them for malpractice, they have insurance to pay. Schwartz and Company, your brother-in-law. First of all, you're not going to sue your brother-in-law, and second of all, he has no malpractice insurance.
In regards to us having insurance as business owners.
I didn't understand that.
So when you own a business in Australia, the owner can get sued, and they usually need to take out insurance for that personally.
Well, I mean, it depends what business you're in. If you have a gas station, you're going to have liability insurance if somebody slips on grease or, catches on fire. If you're taking people out in a fishing boat, you're going to have insurance. Different industries, if you're a dentist, you're going to have, but it's not called business insurance, but it's normally a basic liability insurance, but you're going to have, I say tons of documents, but at the close, the only document that makes a shit is a document that you buy and he sells. And you let the lawyers figure all that shit out. Literally. It's not shit, it's the normal documentation. But as I said, and he mentioned that his chairman, who's a very distinguished guy, I might add, I happen to know, not him personally, but I know who he is. Well, let's have a meeting. I know, and what they want to do is they want to get around and puff their feathers up, all the guys. And I've been there, believe me. And I knew you back in 78. Remember that? Bullshit. And in his particular case, they're all members of a medical association. And if I'm not mistaken, at least one of his board members used to be the head of the medical association. So he wants everybody to blow smoke up his ass. But that's fine. We can blow all the smoke that you want after we can find something to fucking buy. Another great learning too that I learned from the Onassis people, and there's certain things that the Greeks are really simplistic about. We're not going to talk about cutting up the cake until we have a fucking cake to cut up. Okay? We're not going to be celebrating until we have something to celebrate. And they were very simplistic that way, and I learned from Mr. Grazos. And so I've taken that into my own career, and I've taken it or pushed it upon you in your career, and it works. And also, you don't want to give them an opportunity where you sit around, you're talking about strategy, and everybody looks at everybody, and then they look at you. They're thinking. And then at the break, when they're taking a piss, or normally it comes out over cocktails. Okay? And don't drink before lunch. Oh, that's another thing. Don't drink at these fucking meetings until everything's signed. Drink after. I've seen deals collapse over drunken lunches. I've got 3 million pores in my body, and I've been fucked in every one of them twice. And not in a good way. I mean, what can go wrong does go wrong. And remember, absent of evidence is not evidence of absence. Just because you never heard, just because you don't have anybody in your family that got fucked at a board meeting out of a stock, doesn't mean it can't happen. You'll be the first in your family to get fucked, And just like the story, the true story I told you about the kid that got the deal taken away from him. Did I answer your question? Okay. Takeaway of Nick. Now, he's not an alpha male. He's not all that shit, right? I hope everybody noticed that. Just a regular guy, just like a dipshit little weenie like everybody in this room. Although we got 2 or 3 pretenders that think they're not weenies, but just a regular guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, takeaway about the young man.
Well, that was a step diligently.
Yep. Well, you're going to hear just about everybody say that. He did.
He did it in 30 days, so
Yeah. He actually did. He did it in 22 days. 22. I know because I see the reports.
I think he even took one director from his competitor.
Yeah. Yeah, he took one from his competitor. That was a little ballsy, but that's fine. He would have never done that before. He stepped out of his comfort zone without even knowing it. Because now he knows his competitor knows about him. Now maybe he hasn't even thought of that yet, but now his competitor knows about him. Normally you want to stay under the radar. Under the radar. You want to, like a sneak attack, like ninja shit. That's what you want to do. I know a couple of you think you're ninja, but I mean, real ninja. What else about him?
You found another resource other than LinkedIn?
Yep, but which he mentioned. Now, that resource is inexpensive. It's not. I forget what it is, but it's inexpensive. But this is after he went through, as he was talking about, 1,500, 2,000, whatever the number was. He sent out on LinkedIn, and and it's also in the templates about you want. Once you get them to reply to you, then you want to converse with them off of LinkedIn. That's why you ask them in one of the templates it shows, you ask them for their email address so you can converse via email. And in this country they say, can I have your details? I remember when I first got here, I don't know what the fuck that meant. Details about what? But that means your name, full name, your address, your phone number, now your email address, etc. And they send them. And in fact, they're much freer with confidential information now vis-a-vis the internet than they ever were before the internet. I mean, to get details about somebody, you need with a crowbar. But now, and of course, that's why they have hacking and a lot of these bad things that happen on the internet, because there's a flow of information, a free flow of information that never existed before. And I don't know why they should be so cavalier about giving out information. Of course, then there's horror stories. There's bad things that happen. There's predators on the internet, that troll after young people, boys and girls, which, of course, that never exist. Of course, when I was a kid, you didn't lock the door of your house. You left the keys in your car when you went to the market. Left the keys in the car. Okay. You could walk to school. That's a different world. That world apparently doesn't exist anymore. Apparently, sadly, in my judgment, it doesn't exist. Now, there's still farm towns in Kansas and someplace in, fucking Darwin, Australia or some shit that, that life still exists. But for the most part, it doesn't exist. It's gone, long, long gone. Anything else about Nick and or the process? Yes, sir.
At what stage should you incorporate? Is it?
It's prior. You got two. Normally, your first board meeting will be as follows. You got 2 or 3 deals on the boil. Okay. You've had LOIs, letter of intent. You've seen. First, the summary of their financials, then they send you your tax returns. Your crack board, you've asked and showed them, what do you think? And everybody's hot and bothered, because all these guys are going to want to do a deal faster than you. And they're not living hand to mouth like you. But they're in the hunt because they've missed that juice that you get from the adrenaline rush, buying stuff and selling stuff. So they're going to be pushing you. So you have these 3 deals. You tell your accountants and your lawyers to prepare for the first board meeting. You get your lawyers to get all those documents that I alluded to a couple minutes ago. They get them. You've already allocated shares to your board members. You've talked to the banks vis-a-vis, hopefully, overfinancing them. You've got the seller in position. He's already agreed to 40% seller finance. So you're ready. Now you got a fucking meeting. You got something to talk to. You got something to cut up the cake. So then, at that meeting, it will be in the in America it's called Articles of Incorporation, your various declarations. Now, sometimes, I'm not wishing this, but like what happened that we shared earlier in the week, the deal collapses right then or shortly thereafter. The board approves you to go out, let's sign the deal, let's do the deal. And then they go out there, and for whatever reason, the seller we've had in recent years, at the close, documents you sign the documents and you're pushing the documents across the table for them to sign. And then they say, we've been thinking about it. As soon as that, you're in trouble. Or as my wife would say, trouble. And my nephew, the accountant, or my nephew, the lawyer, has done some spreadsheets, and he thinks we're selling it 50% cheap. Now, you're not going to jump. You're going to want to jump across and jump. And I've had deals die just like that. It's not the banks that change your mind. It's not the lawyers that change your mind. It's not the accountants that change your mind. Normally, when the deal collapses, it's the seller, for whatever reason, changes their mind, as is prerogative. I mean, it's not against the law to change your mind. And I tongue-in-cheek say, it's not just women that change their mind at these deals. I mean, grown guys change their mind. And then you've got all these people together in a room. You've incurred a lot of expense, and you're fucked. But and assuming you can't resurrect it, and a good crack world-class board will do everything humanly possible to resurrect, put life back in the dead baby. But sometimes they die anyway, and then you go on to the next deal. But normally that invigorates the board members even more because they got real close, and it didn't happen. So then you push hard and you get the next deal. And then quite often that next deal is done by Skype or Zoom call, because you don't want to incur the cost of coming together again. But that's when you do it.
Cannot be prevented by, like you talked about, breakup fees.
No, yeah, but on these first deals, 1, 2, 3, 5 million, nobody's going to sign a breakup fee. 50 million, yeah. But these first deals, breakup fees. But that's why they have breakup fees on the big deals. Big breakup fee that just happened, I forget, Comcast or somebody, breakup fee was $500 million. Because I am sure the costs incurred were at least $500 million. And that keeps people honest, so to speak. Not honest, but keeps them legit in that they don't willy-nilly decide for some lame reason. But you saw when Fox sold its assets and Sky News and back and forth. I mean, that's not unusual for it to go back and forth and it fall out of bed, go back in, the price goes up 10 pounds or 7, blah, blah, blah. That's not unusual. It is unusual at lower levels, but it still can happen. I mean, there may be a study comes out that and this is why I don't like buying the first deal that has property involved. All of a sudden, Disney World is going to go 7 miles away from whatever you're buying. And the property goes from being worth $2 million to $22 million. And you're buying it for $3.6 million. Just total property in the business. Well, I mean, nobody in his right mind is going to go through with the deal. And serendipity like that happens. It happens. And, that's why the sooner you can get the deals closed, the better. Because you don't want outside influences to influence the close. And now, I've had people try to back out of deals. Okay, you close. A week later, Disney says they're going to build new Disney World, and now this property is worth $22 million instead of $2 million. And then they sue you because you knew. You knew. And you didn't know, or if you knew, you kept your mouth shut. But, yeah. And as I said this morning, bad things happen to good people all the time, or nice people. Nice people, I don't like to use that word nice for the implications of it. Anything else about Nick? And his is a vanilla roll-up. I'd forgotten his dad was a dentist. But he's not giving his dad any equity. His dad's not in the deal. I don't remember looking at his board and seeing his same two last names the same. So, fuck you. I'm on board. Pull up the gangplank. But And he used not his certification that he had to reinstitute because he had to pay for it because he had let it lapse. Fortunately, some of the professional certifications, when they lapse, you got to go through the whole fucking process again. And his particular one, he didn't. He had a year to renew it and pay the £350. And so, as he said, he reinstituted it, but it added a little more credibility, but he had already built the board. So now he's going to have more credibility going forward because of his professional certification. But you don't need him, that's for sure. I'm a prime example. I was neither a petroleum engineer, a geophysicist, or any of those things that you would normally think were required for an oil deal. Anything else about Nick? Yes, sir.
The use of network to extract the profile from Nicky.
I didn't understand you. Say it again, please.
He was using a company that was helping to...
Yeah, it was another company. He gave the name. I forget what it was, but anyway. Yeah. But I mean, he's the only guy that in 20 years that's used that company. Because normally I tell you don't pay for anything. But I mean, it was de minimis, the amount of money. I mean, I don't know, 800 pounds or 1,000. Now, I know 1,000 pounds isn't de minimis to a lot of people, but I mean, it was nothing. And when you asked him how is he surviving, credit cards. And for all the wrong reasons, bank give you credit cards. I don't understand it. I believe that the world's going to go under because of too many credit cards. The average person in the United States has 7 credit cards. I mean, that's from a trailer trash that lives in a mobile home park to the president of New York Bank. 7 credit cards. And the smallest amounts, now this is in America, 5,000 to 25,000 credit cards. So if you got 15,000 credit cards, that's $75,000. And I'm not recommending that you kite credit card debt. That's not the reason for the statement. The reason is that, well, there's a will, there's a way. And then in addition to, you take into consideration your $100,000 credit card debt in the overfinancing. You won't forget that money that you owe. Not dissimilar to most of the kids that are 4 or 5 years out of university have university debt. And where I went to school, it was $48 a semester. $48 for a full load, 15 units. 48 fucking dollars. That's what it cost. Plus books and tuition. That was tuition. So I don't know how you could get fucking student debt on that. You had to be a real fucking bum. But now, I mean, our daughter was $125,000 for a year. That's including, not including living. But that's why the kids have debt, student debt. Anything else about Nick? Sounds easy, doesn't it? Mm-hmm.
So always push back the business plans, tactical meetings.
Yep, always. You have no business plans in your templates. 0. And when we talk about dealing with the banker, the second phase, when the banker asks you for a business plan and you laugh and you say, that's great, but have you ever seen a business plan fail on paper? Okay, YouTube. Thank you.